Hi, Dave Lawrence here. I wanted to demonstrate making Ra tube. That's Ra as in the god, the Egyptian god Ra. These have been around for a long time. People have used them for physical energy. It soups your body up like coffee, only without the side effects. Gives you a lot of energy. The tube needs to be 150 millimeters long. And one of the neat things about this caliber is I can push the blue button and I can get an inch reading for you. And it comes out to 5.905 inches. And again, we have the problem with fractions. So what I'll do is I'll go to the tape measure here. And if I come out to 150 millimeters on the centimeter side of the tape measure, I can see that it's about 3/32 below 6 inches on the tape measure. They actually make these tubes 6 inches long sometimes, but I think the vibration's a lot more pure if you move down 3/32 below that to 150 millimeters, and that's where it really vibrates up strongly. So I use the caliper and set it. I try to get the flattest side. I might have to recut the one of the ends so that it's flat. This is the flattest side here. So I'm going to mark it with my razor blade, sheetrock knife. Right at the tube edge, with the caliper edge. Make a little score there, and then I'm going to check it on the tip. I'm just a little bit under, just about that much. I'm going to make a deeper cut in the copper. And then I'm going to use this little tool here to actually cut the pipe. I have to open it up. Must have been cutting smaller tube with it. Okay, and we're going to place the sharp point of the cutter right in the razor blade notch, and you can feel it go in if you slide sideways a little bit over the notch. And then you're going to tighten this down a little. And then you're going to be very careful on the first loop that it comes back over itself and doesn't start to wander, or you'll cut a screw thread down the pipe. Just go slow in that first turn and make sure that you hit yourself coming around. This is probably going to bleed a little bit of copper onto the table there. It starts to get loose, then you tighten it up a little more. Just go gentle. Just about there. You feel it start to break through, and there it is. There's my Ra tube, 150 millimeters long. Now to show you what we do here to take the sharp points off, we want to ream it just a little bit on the inside. Notice the copper will flake off relatively easy. It's very soft metal. Razor blade, razor knife is plenty sharp. Take that edge off. then if you want to work on the outer edge, you can use some steel wool. That one feels pretty good to me. This other side here is a little sharp along the inner edge. So I'm going to trim it down so nobody cuts himself on it. You don't want it to cut anyone. Okay, that's pretty close. I'm going to shine it up with a little brasso and make it pretty, but basically this one you hold in either hand. You just hold it for a while and you'll feel it. It fills your body with energy. We call it the raw tube, R-A, raw. And the length was discovered in an old book that I have. It was discovered by some count. I forget his name now. Back in the 1800s, I believe, who was researching Egyptian artifacts. And he noticed that a lot of the statues had these in the hands. And that was the length they came up with. Okay, I'm going to go polish it up. Okay, I've got the little tube cleaned up. One coat of brasso, a couple of paper towels. Go around it a few times. And if you wanted to get it perfect, you might have to steel wool out one of the little nicks that was in there. And it looks dark right there. Anyway, you'll pay a lot of money for these tubes online, raw tubes. And they're nothing more than tubes. And they look shiny and pretty, so maybe they're worth $150 a piece. I don't think they are myself. If you know how to make them yourself, you can make a couple of them and hold them both. And it truly fills your body with energy. You get about, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It sneaks up on you if you're not noticing. So anyway, how'd I do in accuracy? I did pretty darn good. It fits in there fairly snug. It just slides through the gap. And I'm pretty happy with it. I shined it up a little bit down into the tube. And then after you get the brasso all rubbed on it and go around it a few times, then you take some hand cleaner over it to get the brasso off. And it comes off as black gunk. You wash the hand cleaner off and then you're done. Your tube's really fine shape. I like that one. Anyway, raw tube. That's how you make them. Very simple. With a pipe cutter. You can get these at True Value if you have access to True Value. It's very simple. Sheetrock knife to score the copper. And you can actually do it with measuring tape if you have a metric. That doesn't come through the photo too well. It's got metric on one side and inches on the other side. And of course the best way to do it is with a caliper. You can actually see my caliper there is flipping. It's 1/100th off, or yeah, 100th of a millimeter flipping on and off there. There it's a 1. That's 100th of a millimeter. You couldn't even feel that if you wanted to. So anyway, raw tube's not that accurate. Doesn't have to be that accurate, but it has to have greater accuracy than the earth grid rod did, because it's tapping into a different kind of energy. This was the energy form the Egyptians used. It's a 5x fractal system I documented in the Matrix document. You can actually cut them at multiples of 30 millimeters. And you'll come up at 150 on the 5th one, and you get a full octave after a 5x. So there's 5 nodes on here, counting the ends. So if you slide down, you can feel them. Slide, just lightly slide your finger down. You feel vibration on the very ends, and then you're going to slide down, and there's going to be another node that you'll find. It'll flare up right there. And you'll feel it if you're touching it real light and sliding along. You'll feel the nodes. They'll flare up right there. And of course on the ends. They're fun to play with. They're fun to feel. It really sucks you into meditation. You start playing with vibration like this. So anyway, thanks for watching.